Hello, and welcome to the Ebb and Flow Show, where we engage in theoretical, philosophical, or theological discussion so that we might change and grow. I can also be listened to on KUBU FM, the voice of Sacramento, and on your radio dial, you can locate the Ebb and Flow Show at 96.5. Or if you're streaming, you can stream at www.accesssacramento.org. And this is Tracie'e D. I could say that I'm your host of the Ebb and Flow, but I have to say that I'm one who wears glasses, and I try everything in my power not to wear them. I squint and hold a given text much too close, and then again at arm's length, and in an attempt to see more clearly, but to no avail. So, in addition to having to wear glasses, I brought an attractive pair of glasses so that I can also wear them for the sake of appearance. I figured that if I had to wear them, I wanted them to add to my outward appearance. Well, I found that when I wear them, things appear that I could not see before, or that I could only see with obscured vision. So today I'm your visual aid that you may apply to your mind's eye for appearance sake. Today we'll be discussing our continued series on the human ability, and within that context, what you don't know can hurt you. We'll also be talking about the law of divine oneness. In our last show, we talked about the power of words. We said, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And that's just not true, friends. We said that our words have power to hurt, power to heal, power to create. And we are living the self-fulfilling prophecy of our own thoughts as well as our own words. We also said that our words are, for the most part, they're determined by our predominant thoughts and beliefs, and are in essence a form of projected energy or vibrational wave frequencies, which activate the law of attraction and attracts unto itself energies of the same or familiar vibrational frequency. This attraction process initiates the law of growth, resulting in the creation of the physical events and conditions and circumstances that you experience in your day-to-day life. So I'd like to start this week's discussion by saying again that there are universal laws, which are also referred to as spiritual laws, or the law of nature, or laws of God, which are principles that govern our every aspect of the universe and our very lives as we live on this physical earth. And it's important that you understand that they do exist, and you should choose to align yourself and harmonize with them in a conscious and intentional way. As you learn to ebb with them and flow with them, you will learn to appreciate each event or experience that you encounter as your life unfolds. Last week, we highlighted 12 universal laws, and this week we'll begin with the law of oneness. The law of oneness states that everything is connected to everything. All that exists, all that you know and all that you don't know, and all that's unseen and all that's seen. The law of oneness is the law that binds us all together. It states that everything and everyone in the universe is connected. We all come from the same divine source, and that's from IamThatIam.net. We're all part, friends, of a pure conscious or a universal energy or life force or God. We all breathe the same air, we drink the same water, we depend on the same sunlight, we rely on the same vibrations of sight and sound to gather information through our senses. Because of this connection, all energy of your thoughts, energy of your actions, and vibrations of your words and beliefs affect you, affect others, as well as affecting the universe. If everything is so connected, you might ask, why don't I feel a sense of belonging or oneness in my personal life? Well, the feeling of loneliness is relative, and so it's very different for every person. It's based on our own perception of how connected or how alone we think we are. I know it may be hard to believe, but some people even feel alone, even if they're amongst many in a crowd. We may feel disconnected or alone due to the loss of relationships, chronic disease or other illnesses, lack of support or trust, and secrets. And I'd like to expound on that subject of secrets a little bit more. Any secret or feeling of guilt, anger, or fear of consequences force us to believe we need to suffer alone, therefore internalizing the feelings and, in the long run, accepting that this is just the way things are with me. Also, we should remember the law of attraction, which says that negative energies attract negative energies, which gives way to the law of growth, which results in creating the physical events, conditions, and circumstances that become your life's experiences. We should never hang on to a seed of negative emotions long enough for it to take root and grow and bring forth unwanted fruits and events in our life. Well, once again, if you're just joining us, this is Tracie'e D, a visionary aid that you may apply to the mind's eye for appearance sake. Today, we're discussing another segment in the series on the human abilities, and within that context, not knowing the universal laws in which we're governed can hurt us, and we're interjecting the law of divine oneness. In the previous I've previously said that I posed a question. If I'm part of oneness, then why do I feel so alone or separate? And I said that some reasons may be loss of relationships, chronic disease or other illnesses, lack of support or trust, and secrets. The reasons for any of our feeling disconnected are even more complex than the reasons that I previously stated. There's many variables that come into play as nature versus nurture. Nature is responsible for the growth of a person from fetus to adult. Nature is also responsible for the makeup of a human being. In other words, their sex, their skin color, their color of their eyes and their hair, and as any ancestral or regional features. Nature can only assist in the growth of a fetus into a well-developed adult who may have inherited some special talents. However, it's nurture which can be utilized to improve positive traits and diminish the effects of negative traits. A person's overall behavior is influenced a great deal by nurture or upbringing and environmental factors involved in this upbringing. Several recent studies carried out on children's behavior have shown that there is significant evidence to support the fact that nurture strongly influences human development, especially in the early years. Factors or variables to consider are how much physical touch, socializing, sports or extracurricular activity, your diet, exposure to noise, pain, rewards, support systems, culture, and the list goes on, friends. We are like a garden, and we must cultivate this garden. Our goal is to recognize and pull the weeds of negative words, feelings, and programming that we have received throughout our lives. Most of us can recall the movie entitled The Matrix, where the main character, Neo, lived in his self-made reality or kingdom of computer hacking, if you will. His self-made reality was full of his own laws and ways of doing things. When there came a knock at the door to offer him a glimpse of reality and truth, he had to struggle against his own paradigm or way of thinking and doing, which, by the way, only offered him very little fulfillment with very little harmony. And again, his struggle was to gain strength in another paradigm where there'd be no limits if he could only free his mind of his previous way of thinking. Through practice and perseverance, he finally began to operate in that life of harmony, balance, and fulfillment. I often refer to much literature because I'm an avid reader of many books. And in the books of Numbers in the Bible, it tells us that the tribe of Israel was brought out of bondage only to wander 40 years in the wilderness. And this was done until they stopped murmuring and complaining about what they had in the past compared to what they had in the present. Like Neil and like us, friends, we need to free our minds of bondage before we can enter the promised land or a life of harmony, balance, and fulfillment. In conclusion, I'd like to quote Albert Einstein, and he said, "A human being is part of a whole, called by us the universe, a part limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings as something separate from the rest of a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us to our personal desire and to affection for a few people who are nearest to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison." And that was by Albert Einstein. 1 Corinthians 12:13 says, "By one Spirit we're all baptized into one body, whether we be Jews or Gentiles, whether we be bond or free, and have been all made to drink into one Spirit." Once again, that's on the Law of Oneness, that we are all connected, friends. This is Tracie'e D, your host of the Ebb and Flow Show. And once again, you can join me at www.accesssacramento.org on Thursdays from 9 to 10 o'clock a.m. so that we might, and that's Pacific time, so that we might change and grow. Ebb and flow so that we might change and grow.